We turn this down a little bit. Looks like we're up. So what the Iranians are doing is they're taking a page from the Zelensky playbook, which they may have been trying to do the whole time with the drones and everything. So they're out there walking around in public dissing the United States, but I really don't believe it's the same thing. They never took out Zelensky. We already took out their Zelensky, but it's not Zelensky or anything like. And we worked on, I guess, taking out Zelensky number 2. That's not the same thing. In fact, like I said, if Iran's anything like Hezbollah and Hamas, they've got exits to those tunnels under residential buildings. We lost our nice weather for a few days here. May even get some snow. Croissant may have touched something, or may have been hit with some direct energy. We'll also find out if he had his phone on him with GPS on him. I don't know how that works in the White House, whether you have it filtered or something. No deep state person is going to tell you what I tell you because they want it to fail. There's a ton of people still in government that want it to fail because they love corruption. And they actually back Iran. It's just a big game for them. In the United States, if you're working as an investigator or an intelligence person in the U.S. government, you're generally, unless you're an overseas spy, not going to be affected. As long as they pay you the millions, you get your great life, and that's it. They're pieces of shit. Again, psychology calls them sociopaths. Again, it's kind of a dumbed down term. They're devils, criminals. There was one will pop up and go, "Oh, this is horrible what they're doing." Meanwhile, knowing that the Biden administration did 10 times as worse things against the American public, specifically, right? That's what they're part of. They're part of like Al-Quds force. Right? But leans more towards spycraft. They'll kiss your ass all day until they get that moment to stab you in the back, like they did Jonathan Luna and the others. All sociopaths. Government's full of sociopaths. That's the problem. But again, so is the anti-ICE people. Like, well, like I told you, once you get into the deep state, you're a sociopath. That's what the whole thing is: narcissism and sociopath. Again, that's what Iran regime is, narcissist sociopaths. You I don't know that glue I bought, the construction glue. It doesn't even look like it's drying, so I might have to call Amazon and say this stuff don't work. More than 12 hours, and I turned the heat on in the room that I'm in. So. I usually use two-part epoxy, but I'm sure as soon as I started looking, they started cursing me. Well, because you're not on a two-part epoxy, you're not dependent on simple drying, more of a chemical reaction. I got the blip this morning. If it doesn't dry, then you call them and say it doesn't dry. You would normally have returned it to Home Depot like that. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. They're pretty big. I didn't realize they were that big. So I bought them frankincense and myrrh, regular incense, because I'm trying to get, again, a lot of times when you buy frankincense and myrrh, it's a mix. Now, I've used just resin. But what I want to do is they're saying that this frankincense and myrrh is the traditional fragrance. So I bought some just to figure it out. So I know what it's supposed to, the fragrance is supposed to be. The other company, what they say is the best, it's just too expensive. And, it wasn't a speedy delivery. And plus, I'm going to burn incense on my porch in the warmer months here. Keep the bugs away and whatnot. Again, it's going to be faith-based. Okay, so this time I didn't see it, but I told you before I was keeping my eye on something, and I don't know if I told you it was the postal guy, because they're trying to radicalize me against the postal guy. But when they do that, one of the things that they do is at a certain point they make you think you won. Like they make this like bullshit thing. And then, like, oh, you're winning again. Like, the whole thing is them trying to put it in your head, I guess, is what we simply say it is, but it's spycraft. All that type of thing that I speak of, psychological methods. So they're making this battle between me and the postal guy inside. And stuff's happening outside. So one of the things they do is they pull the person away. They've done this in gyms. They've done it in other places. And then they project this thought. Now you're winning. They got rid of that person. This is really what they do to make people kill other people, hit other people, threaten other people, become mass shooters. There's only a percentage of those that are actually just happening based upon happenstance, and it's probably a minority. So they pulled my postal guy away, and there was a woman that was delivering. They did it before. It's the same thing before in Kansas. But in their mind, I'm not noticing it. That's why I'm not reacting. Like they can't give that maybe I'm more powerful than the general person that they do this to. So they may have done. Again, it could be Satan's stance, but looked like it was probably them. They're not doing it so that I would see their presence and not become a sexual offender because I was afraid. It's quite the opposite. Breaking your mind so they can force you into it. And again, Satan, part of it is metaphysics. Satan rewards them for what they're engaged in. Why does it have to be sex crime? Because that's what you're looking for. You're sickos, man. Now, they've caused sex crime. What they say is the person makes their choices. This is how the religions deal with it. You know, the ones that have been recruited into, well, you call the deep state, but it's much bigger than that. That the person makes their choices. You have nothing to do with what their choice was. So they've gotten kids raped, they've gotten women raped, they've gotten men raped. And they come on, we're the heroes. So what they do is they operate like 20 or 30 people. And then there's a crime. They go, I'll investigate it for you. Well, they check out the 20, 30 people that they're operating. And then they get the credibility. See, the other 25 are the same way as this guy. And then everybody operates that person the whole time, trying to force them into sex. And then when they retire from government, which some of them are, or get thrown out, then they get their multi-million dollars. They get it in government, but they get it also, a better job doing less work. But 10 times as corrupt, not just as corrupt. There's no way Kash Patel knows what's going on in any office other than where he is, standing at the moment. And he still doesn't know what it is because he doesn't know what's going on in their little conniving minds. That's the weird part because they said that Jonathan Luna was stabbed in the back. I'm like, yeah, that's the deep state there. We call it the deep state. Which makes me think he was murdered. Well, because the person may have been thinking that he stabbed them in the back. Because that's the way the deep state, that's the way narcissism, sociopathy works. The other person's actually it involves a lot of projection. So they got people involved in politics. They call it activism. But again, if you're in the wrong type of activism, you're actually going against the United States, and you're providing material support. Now, you do have to check into any of those terrorist events to see if they were radicalized by a third party, and that third party could be an investigator. Again, the question then would be, was it intentional or unintentional? But then you have to address it and figure out how to fix it. Just because it fits some sort of politic. This one, I don't know whether it actually benefits either side. I mean, the Democrats will claim that, Trump caused it, but well, you can't sit there forever and let them leech and get stronger. Again, the idea is it's difficult to take them out today because we didn't take them out 4 years ago and 8 years ago. I don't even understand. It's probably metaphysics. Actually, you know what? They paid a lot of people. Iran's part of the deep state, and there's no doubt. Boy, we lost our nice weather. I think there'll be some snow maybe tonight. Maybe another day of snow, but we have some nice days. I think Monday's going to be like 60 degrees, and then the next day is like snow. So let's work on that. I've been speaking about the photos you release when there's a missing person for quite a while now. We probably should work that out. So again, make it simple, stupid. So when they go to, I don't know what kind of databases each organization use, but there should be one central one, like, something like NCIC. And then it should address all the issues that we see to make sure the officer is aware of the requirements. Well, there's no way with those first two photos, no way look like what she looks like. That latest one. For some reason, I thought that I guess maybe because they found him, I thought they found her. Maybe they were speaking about some previous incident, or maybe somebody else different. I just assumed it was her. The thing is, with a guy like that, and I don't think you indicted him or charged him right away, if I remember correctly, is if he had her somewhere captive, that's always the scary one. If you arrest him, then he may never tell you where she is, and she might still be alive. I guess apparently you don't think it's him; you think it's someone else. Wow, it's windy today. So, in a news report, the information should be filtered to the media, and the media should know that part of their standard reporting format is to say this is a photo and it is 6 months, 1 year, 2 days, whatever it is, 10 years, approximately, whatever, however they want to say. He actually looks like kind of like somebody I grew up with. It's really weird. Last time I talked to her, she was flaming me. I don't know. I think she became a liberal, and I was in law enforcement. If I was actually chatting with her, because the deep state was doing all sorts of weird stuff. It come online as somebody else. But yeah, she's kind of like flaming me. And I'm like, but I was in law enforcement at the time, so maybe she hated law. People get like point. Deep state uses people that hate law enforcement, and I think they really hate law enforcement. They like to corrupt law. Probably should have took the right. Stuff. So like, it's a horrible intersection. It should be like a clover leaf or something. Something different. Can actually circumvent it, I think. Actually, come from the friction man. Because 6 and 1/2 dozen the other, probably at that point. MSP license plate. Oh, I get the number. It didn't mean anything to me, but it doesn't mean it doesn't. Let's see if that vehicle will pass me. Several MSPs. Come on, I think it's that's UDJ from 8738 from Virginia. Well, they use your offense. MSP 0712. MSP 0712. And there's several MSPs. Some sort of cue probably for somebody. Of course, it's you know, I don't need the cue to know they're doing it. I get in here. It's a little early. So yeah, that's I don't know what Israel's going to do, but as far as the United States, when you go in and advise and engage in training with entities, it doesn't have to just be Jewish entities, as far as what to do on the terror front, as far as response. You should have somebody conduct a security assessment, physical security assessment. Because if we would have conducted it at the school, he never would have gotten through the doors. Now I don't know if they could have. They could just. It looked weird, but they could have placed a vehicle. I think the other bollards would have held up if you put a vehicle there. So, well, again, if you look in the video is the important part because they show. Let me heal these people. They show like aesthetically pleasing ones. A lot of them, they don't want to. Well, the kids might be upset. They show ones with lights on top. Those are cool. That would probably fit that and actually help you with a little bit better lighting. You have your gatherings at night. So you can put those poles that block the vehicle all alongside where they should have been, so they couldn't drive in through there. And then, it just looks like lighting. And at night, it looks pretty nice. You can make it look nice. You could even take them and put like imitation stained glass with Jewish, the Star of David, the menorah, whatever you wanted to do. So at night you have that kind of feeling there. That would be nice for some of the synagogues. You could do lighting, Jewish lighting, different Jewish symbols, just plexiglass panel, probably. And you can do it yourself. Yeah, you could put a square, no worries. You could put a square post in, or even a round post if it's a standard size, and then you could build something over top with the plexiglass panels. You could buy, what do they call them? Things. Actually, you need the wiring to go down the middle. So that would work. I mean, you could, but probably if they filled it with concrete. Like if it was just a round pole and they fill it with concrete, put it down in the hole, fill it with concrete, then you could put the wiring in. And then you just put a cap on it, is what I'm getting at. Especially if you buy a square one, you can put a cap on it. You build like a wood cap on it. You need a metal. Then place Jewish imitation stained glass in there. So again, if FBI needs to pick that up, the best thing is I would think is put a court security person in the mix, unless they're not available. I mean, I would say train yourselves in it. Like I could walk to the school and I could just walk around and tell them what to do. I mean, I say a week before, or 2 weeks before, or 3 weeks before. Again, a week before is Tuesday. 3 weeks is best, and then you sit there for 3 weeks and brainstorm. And then you can run it past everyone else. When you go there, you do video. You should take photos, I guess. But you do video, so you can take it back to the office and go, what do you think? Well, essentially, putting all those, what are they called? I didn't hear, I guess now. Putting all those things, all those bollards in there, could be an eyesore. But you can, when you make it lighting and all that, this person's going to pull in my spot. Forget it. I'm not going to try. Driving around looking for a spot. Deep State used to do that kind of stuff. That's what they do to their victim. I'm not saying that's Deep State, but you'll drive around a parking lot, get a spot, and the Deep State will like beat you up for it and dare you to say anything, and try to get you to road rage and all that shit. I think the road rage that we saw, I don't think was it Kansas or was it Oklahoma? It's probably both, I think. One of those locations, the Kansas location or the Oklahoma location, had a lot of road ragers. I think it was Deep State inspired road rage. Because eventually they'll do it to what they wanted them to do is do it to somebody innocent. Laugh about it. I got him. I got my parking spot. It was perfect. Yeah, but if you put a row of lights, then it looks, there's this lighting, aesthetically, quote unquote, pleasing. And then, of course, you could put a big whatever. You gotta make sure it withstands it. You can even put a big menorah and use it like a bollard. So there's also the possibility of field expedient stuff. Like right now, there's probably going to be a lot of people looking to get some protection from vehicles. So it may take a while to either order the parts in and or get it installed. So you could also tell them you could pull a vehicle here, you can pull a vehicle there. Now the problem with the vehicle is it's got gas in it, and that, you know, if they ram the vehicle, it could cause a bigger explosion. Trailers, another thing, use trailers. They also, if you have money and you don't mind purchasing them, maybe even for, you could use them later after you install the permanent stuff. You might need it for some sort of thing. They have mobile ones that don't connect to the ground, but if the person hits it, it kind of jacks up their vehicle, puts them up in the air, and they wouldn't be able to get in the door. And the other thing is to build just a wall. And you could build it, but you have to make sure it withstands the vehicle. So I guess he went around the 2 bollards between the tree and the paved area. So that diaspora organization in Israel should pick up some physical security stuff. I didn't realize these were so. Oh, geez. Where are they? Oroshika, natural resin. Sacred myrrh and frankincense. They say these are the best next to the really expensive ones. I can't afford that. So what they're doing, I wear a hat, and I don't mind wearing my yarmulke. But I have a big yarmulke because I have a big head that's shaved. And they said, don't, Hashem was like, don't wear it. It has nothing to do with you being Jewish. They're going to tell everybody it's a kufi. Well, I usually wear a Jewish shirt if I wear my yarmulke. That way they don't think it's a kufi. And I don't have a problem with Muslim people, but I'm not one, okay? I studied the book, but I'm not Muslim. With God. So I said that's why you don't have a shirt ready that has Jewish lettering on it. Because they're going to tell everybody it's a kufi. Tell them to call the cops on you. When you get to call cops, you're like, well, why are you calling me? Well, they're Islamic. Well, they're allowed to be Islamic. That's what happens in their head. And they're willing to. And so they just go with whatever they hear. A lot of people with the drones for the deep state. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.